Chapter 21 Life and Death Battle. Life and death are determined by destiny. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The dark night was filled with stars, shrouding the entire eastern wilderness forest. A bright moon looks a little lonely in the void. Under the gloomy night of the forest, the roars of monsters can be heard from time to time. It is more dangerous at night than during the day. In front of the campfire, Su Chen stroked Zihu's hair and just watched quietly. Zihu, who had swallowed 2 pills, was obviously much more stable. The injury has not yet completely stabilized and may relapse at any time. You must go to the place mentioned by Yi Fei to find the suitable spiritual grass for the purple fox to swallow. 9 people. Su Chen felt a little helpless when he thought of what Chu Yang and the other 3 said were the worst junior classes during the day. Among the 22 junior classes, only the 22 class that I am in is known as the worst junior class, and there are only 10 students including myself. Putting the purple fox gently into his arms, Su Chen sat cross-legged, and began to run the ancestral Phoenix Nirvana technique and the ancient god and demon technique in his body, concentrating his energy and staying true to his origin. The aura of gods and demons began to gather in his body, and Su Chen began to follow the training path of the ancient gods and demons, and his hands began to form seals. The vast and majestic aura of gods and demons quickly condensed a seal in front of Su Chen, which was extremely domineering. The terrifying and cold pressure of gods and demons enveloped Su Chen. He suddenly opened his eyes and punched directly into the void in front of him. The air vibrated, and domineering fluctuations rippled around, as if it contained a life force that made people shudder. Death Mark of Gods and Demons. This is the death seal of gods and demons that Su Chen has just comprehended and multiplied from the ancient demon god art. Now it seems that the first death seal of gods and demons he has comprehended is very domineering. If he can comprehend the second and third Tao, the fourth Tao, you know how powerful it is just thinking about it. Xing Yingshue's face was very ugly. She looked at the fat man in front of her and said angrily, "Tang Hao, I've already told you that I don't like you. These are points. You can take them as you like." Tang Hao, with a tall build, a resolute face with a scar, and hair that stood up like thorns, stared at the beauty in front of him with piercing eyes, and said, "Sister Yingxue, I have been pursuing you for a whole year. You tell me what you dislike about me and I will change it immediately. That I really can't figure out what's wrong with him. He has a good family background and good character. He is known as the #1 genius in the junior class. He is at the peak of the foundation building realm and will break through to the void core realm at any time. He also possesses the Qilin Hammer Blood Wheel. If it weren't for Xing Yingxue, he wouldn't have condescended to come to Donghuang Academy to practice, just to be able to get closer to the people first, and to successfully pursue Xing Yingxue. The results of it. 1 year, he didn't know how many methods he used, but he still couldn't move Xing Yingxue. I've said it countless times, I don't like you, why are you struggling so hard? Sister Yingxue, I can promise that as long as you are willing to marry me, our Tang family will do our best to help you and regain the recognition of your clan. How about it? Shut up, I am me, they are them, it has nothing to do with me. Mentioning his family, Xing Yingxue seemed to have touched An I Lin and roared crazily. Tang Hao sighed deeply and said helplessly, I will accompany you to various places in the eastern wasteland to see if I can find a way to change your blood wheel. Tang Hao, I can tell you right now, I don't like you, please don't pester me again in the future. Being rejected continuously, Tang Hao was already furious. He had given up a lot for Xing Yingxue, but he still rejected himself. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Tang Hao could no longer control himself and said coldly, "Ha. Xing Yingxue, I, Tang Hao, am also patient. Since you are so shameless, I will deal with you first and wait until the rice is cooked. Mature meal, I want to see if you are still refusing like you are now." Hearing this, Xing Yingshue's expression completely changed. You dare. Why don't I dare? Tang Hao seemed to have changed. He had to disguise himself because he was pursuing Xing Yingxue. After all, he was from the Tang clan. He deigned to come to pursue Xing Yingxue, but what he got was rejection, rejection, rejection. The strength of our Tang clan and your Xing clan are comparable. What's more, you are in the Xing clan and no one cares about your existence at all. The golden bird blood wheel that the Xing clan is proud of has become an awakened partridge when it comes to you. Blood wheel, even if I use force, the Xing clan will not offend the Tang clan for you. Aren't you afraid of the academy? Not afraid. Tang Hao smiled and said, the winner will write the results. When the time comes, I just need to tell the academy that you want to cling to my Tang clan and deliberately seduce me. Do you think the academy will believe you or me? You are shameless. It doesn't matter. If he couldn't catch him, he would have to cook the rice before it was raw. Tang Hao didn't want to wait any longer. He had already given Xingyingxue enough time and face, but Xingyingxue was just shameless and couldn't blame him. Looking at Tang Hao walking towards him step by step, Xingyingxue's face was filled with despair, her fists clenched tightly. Holding it, she was ready to commit suicide. Even if she died here, she would not be tainted by Tang Hao, a thing with a human face and a beast's heart. Fortunately, she did not agree. Xingyingxue, don't think that because you are from the Xing tribe, you can get any special care at Donghuang College. You are just a waste of cultivation. Otherwise, you don't have to stay in the worst junior class. Are you from class 22? There was a sudden sound of surprise. Who? Get out, Su Chen walked out slowly. He was just passing by. He just saw the two of them, but he never thought of intervening. He had nothing to do with him. He only needed to compete for points. He also wanted to wait for the two of them to resolve their personal matters. And then take action to grab points. But he never thought that this so-called Xingyingxue was from the same class as him, which was the worst junior class in the college. Well, I'm from class 22. My name is Xingyingxue. Arriving in front of Xingyingxue, Su Chen ignored Tang Hao and said with a smile, I have just entered Donghuang College and am a student of class 22. Is the senior sister in trouble? Do you need my help? Of course, it was necessary. Just looking at Tang Hao, Xingyingxue really didn't know how to speak, because Tang Hao's strength was there, at the peak foundation building level, and the blood will he owned was the Qilin hammer. Not to mention the students of class 22, looking at the entire junior class, no one is Tang Hao's opponent, being ignored, and this person is actually from class 22, the worst class in the entire Donghuang Academy. It is well known that students in the worst junior class are all wastes in cultivation and abandoned by the academy. Such garbage dares to ignore yourself, you really don't know how to live or die. The angry Tang Hao said coldly, boy, I don't care who you are, get out of my sight immediately. If this wasn't Donghuang College, I would kill you. Suppressing the endless anger in his heart, although Tang Hao was from the Tang clan, he still did not dare to take action at will, because this was the Donghuang Academy, the top power in the entire Donghuang, and no other race or sect dared to provoke it at will. There are clear regulations in the battle for Qianlong. No death is allowed at any time. Once the academy kills him, I believe that even the Tang clan will not say anything. Looking at Xingyingxue in front of him, Su Chen understood that Xingyingxue's worries were nothing more than fear of being hurt by Tang Hao. He nodded and said, you can bully other people. No matter how shameless and disgusting you are, I will not meddle in other people's business. As a member of class 22, I, Su Chen, am guaranteed to be safe. Is it just you? Tang Hao was really amused. A good-for-nothing from the worst junior class dared to show up in front of him. He was so arrogant before, and he couldn't figure out who gave this person such courage. She's just a loser. Today I want to see how you can heroically save a beauty. As long as you can persist in 3 moves in my hands, I will let you take her away. Junior Su, be careful. He is from class 1, at the peak of the foundation establishment realm, and possesses the Qilin hammer blood wheel. It doesn't matter to Su Chen whether he is at the peak of the foundation establishment realm or not. He can even kill at the void core realm, let alone the foundation establishment realm. He was just surprised by the blood will that Tang Hao possessed, because when he was in the Su family before, he had heard about some of the top families in the eastern wasteland. For example, The Su clan possesses the sword blood wheel. Among the many top families, the Tang clan seemed to possess the Qilin hammer blood wheel. This blood wheel was extremely domineering and of the power type. He did not expect that he would meet someone from the Tang clan in Donghuang College. His eyes lit up, and Su Chen also wanted to see how domineering Donghuang's top blood wheel was. Qilin hammer blood wheel, then I want to try it. The words just fell, the blood wheel instantly condensed above the head, and inside it contained the shadow of an illusory sword. Accompanied by a sword roar, the fierce and domineering sword energy roared wantonly in the blood wheel. 8th level foundation building realm, Xingyingshu exclaimed, and even Tang Hao was surprised, because it was impossible for an 8th level foundation establishment warrior to enter the worst junior class. Tang Hao smiled contemptuously. He wanted to challenge himself with the 8th level foundation building realm, but he was not qualified yet. Boy, I will let you know today how big the gap is between you and me. The blood wheel was also condensed in the sky above the head, and there was a hammer inside. The hammer was engraved with a unicorn pattern, and low roars roared out from the blood wheel. A sword, a hammer, the sword energy and the hammer force collided fiercely in midair. No one was willing to give in, as if they wanted to completely destroy the other. Boy, do you dare to sign a life-and-death contract with me and engage in a life-and-death battle? Junior Su, you absolutely must not do this. Xingyingshu said anxiously. She understood what Tang Hao meant. Death was not allowed in the battle for the hidden dragon, but there were exceptions to everything. This exception is the covenant of life and death. Whether in the academy or participating in the battle for Qianlong, students will inevitably have life and death grudges that cannot be resolved. If even the academy cannot stop them, they can sign a life and death contract and engage in a so-called life and death battle. It's a life and death battle. Life and death are determined by destiny. No matter who lives or dies, the college will not interfere. The real life and death. Chapter 22. Your attack is over, now it's my turn. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xingyingshu was very anxious and worried, fearing that Junior Su would agree to Tang Hao's life and death battle. Once a life and death contract is signed, even if Tang Hao kills Su Chen, I believe the college will not interfere in the matter. This is the rule of the college. That is why, unless there is a life and death grudge, I believe no one would be willing to sign a life and death contract. Su Chen nodded, smiled, and said, I'm happy to accompany you. The words just fell, the two of them each forced out a drop of blood essence and merged together in mid-air to form a strange force, which was a life and death agreement. The life and death contract had just been signed, and a powerful and domineering aura erupted from both of them at the same time, and the blood wheels they had condensed roared upward to the sky. His cold eyes contained cold murderous intent. Tang Hao didn't take this person seriously at all. So what if Su Chen was at the 8th level of foundation establishment? There was a whole 2 levels difference, and what he had awakened was the Qilin hammer blood wheel. The two figures moved at the same time, penetrating through the layers of space and colliding hard together, without the slightest contempt. Su Chen knew very well that just because he could defeat the Void Core realm, it did not mean that he could definitely suppress any foundation establishment realm. Some evil foundation establishment level warriors may not be inferior to myself in strength. This is Donghuang Academy. And the fact that he has the 3rd blood wheel will definitely not be spread out. The Qilin hammer appeared in his hand, turned into a shape of tens of feet, and hit Su Chen fiercely. The Qilin hammer blood wheel itself is a powerful type of walking, the most direct hammer. Junior Su, be careful. Using the 9 Tribulations sword technique to blend into the sword's blood wheel, the black-red sword shadow appeared in his hand and also struck out towards Tang Hao. The sword hammer collided hard, causing waves to spread all around. The ground could not withstand the collision and began to shatter inch by inch. The two of them stepped back at the same time. Su Chen only took 1 step back, but Tang Hao took 6 or 7 steps back. His horrified eyes were full of shock. He never expected that Su Chen could survive. He has full confidence in his own strength. Not only can he sweep across the same level, but he can also kill enemies beyond the level. With the Qilin hammer blood wheel in his hand, he can even defeat the 4th level Void Core realm. What now? After taking several steps back, the first collision, technically speaking, he had lost, but he was unwilling to admit defeat. Let you see the Qilin hammer technique of our Tang clan. Like a ghost, it instantly disappeared from the spot. The Qilin hammer in his hand swung fiercely again, one hammer after another, and the continuous hammer shadow swept over the sky and covered the sky. My body is like a sword. Su Chen stood still, using the sword in his hand on the spot, and the dense and domineering sword energy formed a sword shield. Boom. Bang bang. The sharp and domineering hammer shadow continued to bombard the sword guard, and the speed continued to soar. Clenching her fists tightly, she stared at the scene in front of her with a worried face. Nothing could happen to Junior Su, otherwise, she would never feel at ease in her life, a lifetime of guilt, but she couldn't intervene. After all, she was not strong enough to compete with Tang Hao. She could only hope that Junior Su would win. Boy, I want to see how many of my blows you can withstand. Bombarding like a sandstorm, the dense shadow of the hammer enveloped the sword shield. Su Chen could no longer be seen, only Tang Hao could be seen swinging the Qilin hammer back and forth. The fierce collision was like the intertwining of water and fire, and the burst of air waves almost blew Xing Yingxue away. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out, written all over the pale face that in addition to the pain, Xing Yingxue's cultivation level was too low. How could he withstand such a terrifying impact? As the battle continues to escalate, unable to kill Su Chen for a long time, Tang Hao's face became more and more gloomy, and his cold eyes stared at Su Chen in front of him, who was covered by his own hammer shadow. The Qilin hammer technique soared to the limit, with a total of 81 hammers. He gritted his teeth and kept swinging, one hammer after another, and one after another. When he reached the 81 hammer, the sword guard began to make a buzzing sound. The more it sounded, the more anxious Tang Hao became, because the longer the delay was, the more disadvantageous it would be to him. It's hard to accept this fact. His talent is the best among his peers, and he also possesses the top blood wheel in the East Wasteland, the Qilin hammer blood wheel. Let alone a warrior of the same level, he can still beat him to death even in the face of the Void Core realm. What now? Facing a loser from Donghuang Academy, the worst junior class, but still unable to kill him, this matter is absolutely a shame and a great humiliation for him. Holding back the waves of weakness that came from within her body, Xing Yingxue held her breath and looked at the life-and-death battle in front of her with worry. Judging from the current situation, it was obvious that Junior Su had the upper hand. If this continued, there would probably be a big disaster. Trouble. What to do? A trace of blood oozed from his mouth, and Tang Hao's face became increasingly pale. After all, the backlash brought to him by forcibly using the Qilin hammer's 99 and 81 hammers was extremely huge. The battle must be fought quickly. If he continues like this, he may be killed by himself before he can hammer the opponent to death. 99 and 81 hammers, hammer the sky and the earth, break it for me. All the hammer shadows merged to form an extremely huge hammer shadow, which slammed down on the sword shield in front of him. Boom. There were cracks in the sword shield, spreading around like a huge spider web. However, the moment the sword shield shattered, Tang Hao also spurted out a mouthful of blood, and his body flew out and hit a big tree hard. He broke off. A trace of blood slowly oozed from Su Chen's mouth. The overbearing Qilin hammer blood wheel, especially when paired with the Qilin hammer Ju, was even more powerful. The superposition of 99 and 81 hammers would make even him suffer. Slightly injured. Your Qilin hammer blood wheel is very good. Your attack is over. Now it's my turn. His gloomy face was as ugly as it was, and he really couldn't accept the fact. After all, Su Chen's defense just now made his heart tremble. He used 81 hammers in a row, but failed to kill this person smoothly. Can he withstand Su Chen's sword blood wheel? If it had been before, he would have had full confidence and would be able to withstand it, but now, the situation was completely different, and he had no confidence whatsoever, having signed a life-and-death contract. Even if he died here, Donghuang College would not blame Su Chen if he knew about it. As for the Tang clan's revenge for him in the future, even if they can get revenge, so what? He is already dead, and there is no resurrection. Thinking of this, Tang Hao, who was already frightened, did not dare to stay any longer and turned around to run away. As long as he could successfully leave the academy alive, he believed that even if he signed a life-and-death contract, he would still not be afraid of this person. Su Chen was faster than Tang Hao and appeared in front of Tang Hao instantly. "You haven't taken my sword yet. I'm from the Tang tribe." "So what?" That even the Tang clan could not deter this person. Tang Hao's face became more and more gloomy. He held the identity jade token in his hand, and his soul could pour in at any time. As long as special power was deployed, the teacher from Donghuang College would come at any time. Chapter 23 Life and Death Battle, Why Should I Stop? You are listening at NovelFull.audio. This moment, Tang Hao was very scared and couldn't die here no matter what. If he hadn't signed a life-and-death contract, I believe this person wouldn't dare to kill him. After all, the rules of the academy were there. No one would dare to violate them unless they wanted to commit suicide. Only now, the situation is completely different. Feeling the cold murderous intent released from Su Chen, Tang Hao's expression suddenly changed, and his soul had poured into the identity jade pendant, touching the special power inside the jade plate. "Su Chen, even if we sign a life and death contract, there will always be a battle for hidden dragons here. If you kill me, the college will definitely hold you accountable." So much nonsense. Su Chen didn't have any grudges. He and Tang Hao had already signed a life and death contract. Even if the academy knew about it, what could it do? In the face of a life and death battle, not even the academy will interfere. Take one step forward. Su Chen used the finger sword to perform the 9 tribulations sword art. The extremely domineering blood wheel was integrated into the sword art, and cold and sharp sword energy shot out continuously. "You dare, threaten." Su Chen didn't take it seriously at all. Seeing the sword energy approaching, Tang Hao had no choice but to swing out with the Qilin hammer and fight to the death. As long as he could wait until the teacher arrived, he would be safe. "Stop!" An urgent voice came from the distance, and a huge and domineering aura rolled in. It was the teacher from Donghuang College who arrived. Tang Hao suddenly felt happy and said with a sneer, "Su Chen, if you want to kill me, you will have to wait until the next life." Boom. Before Tang Hao could finish his nonsense, the dense and domineering sword energy was already bombarding the Qilin hammer blood will continuously. This time, Su Chen showed no mercy. The domineering sword energy made it impossible for Tang Hao to resist. Even the Qilin hammer blood will was instantly shattered. With a scream like a slaughtered pig, Tang Hao's body flew up hard, and then fell hard to the ground. His chest was dyed red with blood. The Qilin hammer blood will condensed above his head was like broken glass. Completely collapsed, a figure appeared in an instant. The man was 1.9 meters tall, with a Chinese character face and small eyes. He immediately put a pill into Tang Hao's mouth. "Teacher Teng." Tinglong, the junior class teacher of Donghuang College, a strong man in the nascent soul realm, is very stern and upright. He rushed over immediately after being summoned by Tang Hao's power, but in the end it was a step too late. His face was very gloomy. Tinglong did not expect that Tang Hao's blood wheel would be directly shattered. This would be a big trouble. After all, Tang Hao's identity was somewhat special. "I just said stop, didn't you hear me?" "Heard it. Why bother taking action?" Although there were no deaths, according to the rules of the academy, under normal circumstances, students would not act so viciously among themselves. Since the start of the battle for the Qianlong, this is the first time such a thing has happened in 3 days. Why should I stop a life and death fight under a life and death covenant? A life and death battle. Tinglong looked at Xing Yingxue, saw Xing Yingxue nodding, and finally understood why this person dared to be so arrogant and ignored his orders. Tang Hao was able to save his life after signing a life and death contract. Thank God. After all, once the life and death contract was signed, even the dean would not interfere in the matter. "What's your name? Which class are you from?" "Su Chen, from class 22. I was very surprised. How could such a monster appear in the worst junior class? Even Tang Hao, the top monster in the junior class, could defeat him. Without saying any more nonsense, Ting Li picked up the unconscious Tang Hao and disappeared from the sight of the two of them like a cheetah. looking at the young man in front of him stupidly. Xue was still a little confused. She really didn't expect that Junior Su's strength was so domineering that he could seriously injure Tang Hao. You are hurt? Fine. Helping Xue sit on the ground, Su Chen said, you should have left with Teacher Tinglong just now. Su Chen knew very well that for students like Xue, participating in the Qianlong competition was nothing more than making up the numbers to gain experience. It was completely wishful thinking to compete for the Qianlong ranking, not to mention Xue, even Tang Hao can only be a sparring partner. The Qianlong ranking is entirely a competition for the intermediate class and has little to do with the junior class. Xue said helplessly, Junior Su, I am the one who has caused trouble for you this time. The Tang clan has a strong power in Donghuang. Even with the threat of Donghuang College, once you leave the college, I'm afraid. At this point, Xue did not continue, but the meaning of the words was very clear and anyone could hear it. Su Chen didn't care, one Su, one more Tang, it's the same thing. Are you from the Xing tribe? Su Chen had heard the conversation between the two just now. He was not very unfamiliar with the Xing clan. After all, the Xing clan, like the Tang clan and the Su clan, were the top forces in the eastern wasteland, and the Xing clan was known as the Golden Bird Blood Wheel. Famous in the eastern wilderness, nodding, Xue said with sadness on her face, I am indeed from the Xing clan, but I am an abandoned person by the Xing clan. I believe you have just heard that my Xing clan is famous in the East Wasteland because of the blood of the Golden Bird Wheel, but what I awakened was the Partridge Blood Wheel, which is a shame for the Xing people. Golden Bird Blood Wheel. Partridge Blood Wheel. Su Chen understands Xue's feelings. After all, in this world where martial arts is respected, strength means everything. Even family ties are vulnerable. He is an example. Under the intimidation of the Su clan, his cousins and uncles all wanted to kill him. Even his grandfather, who loved him very much, expelled him from the family. The blood wheel is fundamental to warriors, and it is faced to top forces. The dignified Xing clan, one of the top forces in the eastern wasteland, possesses the Golden Bird Blood Wheel that everyone envies. The sudden appearance of a Partridge Blood Wheel is definitely unacceptable, and Su Chen can guess that Xue's status in the Xing clan is absolutely unacceptable. Simple. Junior Su, can I ask you something? You say. I want to practice with you for a few days. At the second level foundation building level, such a level of cultivation is indeed too low in Donghuang College. Otherwise, he would not be at the bottom and be reduced to the worst junior class. For Su Chen, it didn't matter. What he had to do now was to search for the spiritual grass while competing for points and climbing onto the Hidden Dragon ranking. There is definitely no hope for the 100 Battles ranking, but for the Qianlong ranking, others in the junior class cannot do it, but he must win it. Okay. Hearing this, Xue thanked him gratefully. Let's rest for 2 hours and leave after you recover from your injuries. Good. Xue's injury was not serious, but was affected by the life-and-death battle between the two just now. I believe 2 hours will be enough to recover. Looking at the young man sitting cross-legged and starting to practice not far away, Xue's face turned red unnaturally. Chapter 24 If a dog bites you, why don't you bite him enough? You are listening at NovelFull.audio. 2 hours later, Xue's injury had almost recovered, so they chose to leave without staying any longer. The reason why Su Chen came to help Xue was that besides being from the same class, he also sympathized with Xue. They are all in the same boat, they are both abandoned by their families. Roar. Terrifying roars resounded through the void, and hundreds of armored rhinoceroses had surrounded the two of them. Each one of them stared at the prey in front of them with their cold eyes flashing. Releasing the blood wheel, Su Chen held the illusory sword Shadow in his hand, protected Xue behind him, and used the 9 Tribulations sword technique. The fierce and domineering sword energy rippled out and swept around. At the same time, facing hundreds of armored rhinoceros, Su Chen not only showed no fear, but also seemed very excited, killing and devouring them. As long as the devouring power is enough, combined with the superposition of the Chaos Devouring technique and the Chaos body, I believe that I will soon be able to break through my own limits and successfully advance to the 9th level of foundation building, tens of minutes later. Su Chen and Xing Yingxue sat cross-legged at the same time and said, "Concentrate your concentration, stick to your roots, don't resist the infusion of my power, you just need to devour it." Su Chen's meaning is very simple, that is, to use his body as a medium to devour the power of the armored rhino, and then refine it with the help of the Chaos Devouring technique, and then pass it on to Xing Yingshue's body. I believe there will be no backlash. I am very grateful. Even her family chose to give up on her, including the academy, and she was placed in the worst junior class. Now Su Chen is willing to help her. Looking at her with somewhat confused eyes, Su Chen's figure in Xing Yingshue's heart gradually grew larger. Don't think too much and practice quickly. Being held tightly by Su Chen's hand, Xing Yingxue felt somewhat distracted and kept telling herself what she was thinking about at this time. The sky above the head gradually, the condensed blood will has a shadow of a bird inside, which is the partridge blood will awakened by Xing Yingxue. With Su Chen's full help, Xing Yingshue's cultivation level broke through to the 3rd level of foundation building. Huh? Junior Su, what's wrong? Holding Xing Yingshue's hand tightly, Su Chen looked at the blood wheel above Xing Yingshue's head and said in surprise, "Your blood wheel is a little fishy. If you can trust me, I'll help you." Junior Su, please. Of course I believe it. Today, Xing Yingxue will not even trust anyone in the family, but will trust Su Chen in front of her. The chaotic body in the body emerged, and the sword blood will condensed above the head covered the gloomy swallowing blood wheel, and Su Chen began to run the chaos swallowing technique. Wave after wave of devouring aura continuously poured into Xing Yingshue's body and began to cover the blood wheel. With beads of sweat covering her painful face, Xing Yingxue gritted her teeth and persisted. Waves of devouring power kept devouring Xing Yingshue's blood chakra. If she hadn't chosen to believe in Su Chen, she would have really thought that Su Chen would be detrimental to her. "Sister Xing, hold on." Kindness. More and more painful, his whole body seemed to be eroded by thousands of ants, gnawing at all the flesh, blood, muscles and bones all over his body, making him miserable. Half an hour later, just when Xing Yingxue was about to lose it, the blood will condensed in the sky above his head suddenly burst, and a new shadow emerged from the broken partridge. The pure white skylark has countless black lines on its body. His cold eyes contained extremely powerful light, and he looked up to the sky and let out a long roar. Mutated blood wheel, skylark covering the sky. Su Chen knew very well what the mutated blood wheel meant. The sword blood wheel he reunited with was the mutated blood wheel. This kind of blood wheel was very special and very powerful. Just now when he helped Xing Yingxue practice, he discovered that Xing Yingshue's blood wheel was a little different, as if the partridge blood wheel sealed something. Now it seems that the mutated blood wheel has not really awakened yet, but he just ignited the mutation himself. It was supposed to devour the power of hundreds of armored rhinoceroses to attack the 9th level foundation building realm. But, seeing that Xing Yingxue had awakened the mutated blood wheel, she urgently needed the infusion of power to get the maximum benefit. Su Chen was not a stingy person, so he immediately chose to give up swallowing it himself, and instead tried his best to help Xing Yingxue swallow this power. A stream of refined power was continuously sent into Xing Yingshue's body. An hour later, the pain all over his body disappeared instantly, and the previous injuries were completely healed. The sky-covering skylark blood will emerged above his head, giving Xing Yingxue powerful strength. Slowly opening his eyes, he felt the surging power in his body. He had been promoted to 3 levels. Don't be too excited. This time, with Su Chen's help, he had been promoted to a total of 4 levels, directly from the 2nd level foundation building realm. Entering the 6th level of foundation building. Junior Su, thank you. You're welcome. Su Chen was also happy for Xing Yingxue, because Xing Yingxue was not favored by the Xing clan because of the waste blood wheel. Now that Xing Yingxue has reawakened the mutated blood wheel, and is still a top-level blood wheel that covers the sky, I believe that among the Xing clan status will change drastically. But you must know that the level of the blood wheel skylark is even higher than that of the golden skylark. Seeing that her hand was still held by Su Chen, Xing Yingshue's face turned red again, like a ripe red apple. Xing Yingxue. You are really shameless. You even have an affair here. It's shameless for Senior Tang Hao to pursue you so much. All the students in Donghuang Forest did not know that Tang Hao had his blood will disabled. A man and a woman came over, looked at the young man and Xing Yingxue holding hands, and immediately complained. After all, everyone in the junior class knew that Tang Hao from class 1 had been pursuing Xing Yingxue, but was rejected by Xing Yingxue repeatedly. Mo Lin, don't talk nonsense here. Mo Lin and Mu Shuangshuang were both from class 1 and could be regarded as Tang Hao's followers. After all, Tang Hao's identity was there. They could not stay at Donghuang College for a lifetime. Once they left the college, they would need Tang Hao's support. Being able to join the Tang clan would be of great benefit to their growth and development. Nonsense? Am I talking nonsense? Look at you, if the two of us come one step later, will you start fighting in the field directly? How can brother Tang Hao like a bitch like you? Mu Shuangshuang also said with disgust on his face, it's really disgusting, Xing Yingxue, today we are going to teach you a lesson on behalf of Senior Tang Hao, so that you know what price you need to pay for betraying Senior Tang Hao. There was no trace of anger on his indifferent face. He pulled Xing Yingxue to stand up. Su Chen said with a smile, you don't need to be angry. Just treat them as dogs. If a dog bites you, why don't you bite the dog again? Puff. Xing Yingxue never expected that Junior Su would say this, and couldn't help but burst into laughter. Chapter 25 The mantis stalks the cicada and the oriole follows behind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Presumptuous. Mo Lin and Mu Shuangshuang were furious. They both came from class 1 and belonged to the peak 8th level foundation building realm. I believe that except for the students in class 1, looking at the other junior classes, no one could be their rival. To dare to humiliate them so brazenly is a complete provocation. I will teach you a lesson today for Senior Tang Hao. What a bitch. Court death. Taking a step forward, Mo Lin slapped Su Chen fiercely. His domineering palm print contained cold murderous intent. He wanted to tell the other person what would happen if he provoked him, only, Su Chen did not release the blood will, but began to form seals with his hands, performing the death seal of gods and demons. He has successfully derived the first death seal of gods and demons. This is the first time he has used it. He also wants to see what kind of terrifying power this death seal he has learned from the ancient gods and demons art contains. A burst of death energy instantly condensed into a seal on his hands, and when Mo Lin was less than 1 meter away from him, he struck out. Both of them were at the 8th level of foundation building at the moment of collision. Mo Lin suddenly felt the overbearing seal, and broke through his offensive. It flooded into the stream like a tsunami. He didn't even have a chance to release his blood chakra before he was hit by the seal. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and his body flew backwards violently, crashing into a big tree. The big tree broke in response, and Mo Lin's body was stained red with blood. If it weren't for the Academy's rules against killing, I believe Mo Lin would be a dead man now. You dare! Snapped. Mu Shuangshuang was completely stunned. She only saw the afterimage flashing in front of her. Before she could even react, Su Chen slapped her from left to right, one slap after another, without any mercy, and slapped hundreds of them in an instant. Mu Shuangshuang, who was originally handsome, turned into a pig's head, with stars in his eyes. He was kicked away and landed next to Mo Lin. There was no surprise at all, because in Xing Yingxue's view, Junior Su could defeat even Tang Hao, let alone other students. When he came to the two of them, Su Chen sneered. What do you want to do? This is the Eastern Wilderness Forest, and the college has clear regulations that do not allow death. In the face of life and death, the so-called dignity is completely bullshit. He was afraid that this person would go crazy and kill both of them. Integral. Even if he had all the reluctance in his heart, under the threat of strength, he could only reluctantly take out his identity jade token and transfer the points to Su Chen. Be a bitch. After leaving 2 words behind, Su Chen took Xing Yingxue and left quickly. According to the location given to him by Yi Fei, after several hours of frantic driving, he finally arrived in front of a giant peak. There are towering trees all around, surrounding the giant peaks, forming an encirclement. Right here. Sister Xing, why don't you stay here and wait for me? Su Chen knew very well that there must be powerful monsters sitting in the giant peak in front of him. I believe it would not be easy to obtain the spiritual grass. Although Xing Yingxue has awakened the mutated blood wheel, she is only at the 6th level of foundation building. Once she encounters a powerful monster, she will have no time to take care of her. Xing Yingxue really wanted to follow Su Chen in, but she also understood what Senior Su meant. If she continued to follow and encounter danger, not only would she not be able to help Junior Su, she would even become a burden. Junior Su, be careful. Fine. Without continuing to grind, Su Chen quickly headed towards the giant peak in front of him. Zihu's injury is somewhat stable. If he wants to stabilize it completely, he must find suitable spiritual herbs as soon as possible. Within the giant peak, the hurricane is raging and the dust is flying. Can spiritual grass grow here? Su Chen gathered a sword shield around his body and continued to move forward. After a while, he saw another scene. A lush forest containing huge spiritual power, boom boom boom. Following the sound of the riot, I saw 2 young men joining forces to besiege a blood-red tiger. Void Core Realm Demonic Beast, Blood Demon Tiger. Su Chen could sense that the 2 students were both at the 9th level of the Void Pill Realm. Even if they worked together to kill the Blood Demon Tiger, it was not that smooth. It seems that the Blood Devil Tiger is at least the 9th level Void Core Realm, or even the peak Void Core Realm. It seems that the 2 of them have the upper hand. It is still unknown who will win and who will lose until the end. Not far from the battle between man and tiger, there is a piece of blood-red Ganoderma lucidum. The vines look like dragons circling, which looks extremely weird. Ponchua Ganoderma lucidum. Su Chen's eyes flashed green for a moment, and he stared at the Ponchua Ganoderma greedily. In the Su family, there were books dedicated to various spiritual beasts and spiritual herbs in the martial arts pavilion, and they could also be purchased in the market. Among them is the introduction of Ponchua Ganoderma, which is absolutely miraculous for the soul, and Ponchua Ganoderma can be incorporated into elixirs and can be refined into Ponchua pills, without the slightest hesitation. He didn't care about anything else. He came here on this adventure just to find the spiritual grass. Now that he saw the spiritual grass, if he didn't take action, he would have to be a fool. Boy, how dare you! Boy, don't touch the Ponchua Ganoderma. Xiao Ming. He and Su Chen were held back by the Blood Demon Tiger, and the Blood Demon Tiger belonged to the Peak Void Core Realm. They took advantage of the fact that the Blood Demon Tiger was injured before they dared to join forces to suppress it. Once they give up the attack, they will definitely be killed by the Blood Demon Tiger. At that time, it will really be a waste of money, but I never thought that there would suddenly be a mantis stalking the cicada and the oriole behind me. How could I not feel angry? Directly choosing to ignore it, Su Chen came to the plate-blooded Ganoderma lucidum in an instant. He looked at the plate-blooded Ganoderma lucidum. There were probably hundreds of them, and the greed in his eyes became more and more intense. These are issued, without the slightest courtesy. Harvesting began immediately. One by one, the Ganoderma lucidum was continuously harvested and put into the space ring. In just 2 minutes, all the blood-coated Ganoderma lucidum had been swept away. Not even a single coated blood Ganoderma lucidum was left. Boy, you are looking for death. Xiao Ming roared angrily. The 2 of them were from the intermediate class 1. They were both in the 9th level Void Dan realm. They had finally suppressed the Blood Demon Tiger. Once they obtained hundreds of blood-coated Ganoderma lucidum, they could redeem it when they returned to the academy. Earn more points to redeem what you want. What now? The mantis stalks the cicada, followed by the oriole. The most important thing is that this oriole is only in the foundation building realm and must be a student from the junior class. Students in the junior class dare to snatch things from the students in the intermediate class. This is the first time I heard this. If this kind of thing were reported back to the academy, it would definitely become a joke. The angry Xiao Ming and Su Chen surrounded them more and more crazily. The Blood Demon Tiger itself was injured. Even so, with 1 against 2, it was still able to withstand the siege of the 2. Nice place. Su Chen discovered that the ground covered with blood Ganoderma lucidum contained huge spiritual power and was indeed a good place for cultivation. Chapter 26 I need a favor from you too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Chen immediately sat cross-legged. Without wasting any time, the chaos swallowing technique began to operate in the body, and the vast swallowing swallowed the entire ground. A steady stream of power poured into every part of the body, as if bathing in the sun, very comfortable. Some pain, after all, is swallowed up too quickly, which will cause great trouble for one's own overloaded refining and fusion. Su Chen couldn't control that much, after all, he needed to devour the power here before the power dissipated, so that he could successfully reach the 9th level of foundation building. Vast and majestic power poured into his body, like a scourge, ravaging every part of his body, and began to gather in his blood chakra. After taking out a pan-blood Ganoderma lucidum, Su Chen could no longer wait to refine the pan-blood Ganoderma. He now urgently needed to devour the pan-blood Ganoderma to increase his soul level. Panchua Ganoderma melts in the mouth and pours into the body instantly along the throat. Thanks to the Chaos Devouring technique, if it were anyone else, they would not dare to madly devour such a huge power. Once they failed, the consequences would be disastrous. Right now, Su Chen discovered that the purple fox, which had been sleeping, was slowly devouring the power around him. He took out 3 blood-coated Ganoderma lucidum plants from the space ring and carefully gave them to Zihu to swallow. Then, with the help of the chaos devouring technique running in the body, the refined power is continuously fed into Zihu's body. I believe that with a two-pronged approach, Zihu's injury should be completely stabilized. Have to say, the chaos devouring technique is indeed very overbearing. Under such high-speed devouring, only 1/3 of the power on the ground is lost, and the remaining 2/3 are completely devoured. With the help of the power of devouring, Su Chen not only broke through to the 9th level foundation building realm, but also reached the peak foundation building realm, which was only 1 step away from the virtual core realm. Boom! At this time, Su Chen and Xiaoming finally managed to kill the blood demon tiger successfully in every step of danger, but their injuries were also very serious. They gasped and looked at all the blood-coated Ganoderma lucidum that had disappeared in front of them. It's really cruel, not even a single plant of Panchua Ganoderma was left to them, and this person is still sitting here cultivating, swallowing the power left behind by the sucker blood Ganoderma lucidum. Without waiting for the two to speak, Su Chen's figure was like a ghost, and he came to the blood demon tiger in an instant, with greedy eyes. The soul of the peak void core realm monster was very good, and it was definitely a great tonic. The speed he just swallowed was too fast, and the huge power made his realm unstable. He urgently needed to swallow the soul of the monster to neutralize it and completely stabilize his realm. There was no hesitation at all. The chaos devouring technique began to operate within his body, and his palms covered the corpse's head. Under the cover of the chaos devouring technique, the power in the blood demon tiger's body began to flow into the body along Su Chen's palm. What is he doing? Boy, we are working together to kill the blood demon tiger, but you are here to take advantage. Isn't it unreasonable? Hand over all the Panchua Ganoderma. You can keep one. He didn't take this person seriously. The gap between the junior class and the intermediate class was there. Even the weakest student in the intermediate class could defeat the strongest junior class student. They cannot kill this person. They need to care about the rules of the academy. If they break the rules, they will also suffer misfortune. After successfully devouring the soul power of the blood devil tiger, Su Chen let out a long sigh of relief, shook his head and said, I got the Panchua Ganoderma, why should I give it to you? And I need the two of you to help me. Without waiting for the two of them to speak, Su Chen continued, I believe that with the strength of the two of you, you should have a lot of points. Hand over the points. Hand over points. The two of them were really amused. They really didn't expect that this person actually wanted the points in their hands. How could they help? Can't help. They are both on the Qianlong list, one is ranked 14th and the other is ranked 13th. This time the Qianlong competition has been re-ranked, and they are full of confidence that they can go up. Once you hand over your points, you will lose your rank on the Qianlong ranking. Even if you can challenge the people on the Qianlong ranking, the face problem is irreversible. the most ridiculous thing is that the other party is just a Foundation Establishment Realm student from the junior class, and it is completely nonsense to want to snatch the points in their hands." Xiao Ming's face was full of contempt, and he said mockingly, "I have been in Donghuang Academy for 2 years, and you are the most arrogant person among all the students I have seen. Even the seniors on the 100 battles list are not as arrogant as you. Did you think that if the two of us worked together to kill the blood demon tiger and got injured, you could stand in front of us and show off your power? I can tell you right now, even if we were injured, it would still be easy to defeat you. Matter. Okay, stop talking nonsense with him and resolve this matter quickly. We still have to compete for the ranking of the Hidden Dragon list." The two of them just finished talking. Even before the two of them took action, Su Chen's figure had disappeared from the spot. Before anyone arrived, cold murderous intent had enveloped the two of them. The two of them were severely injured. Even if Su Chen teamed up, he didn't take them seriously. Even if they were at their peak, I believe he could defeat them, let alone now. Court death. Seeing the young man taking the initiative to attack, the two angry people endured the bursts of pain in their bodies. The gap between the Foundation Establishment Realm and the Void Core Realm was there, and they were both at the 8th level of the Void Core Realm. Together they could. Is it still impossible to suppress a foundation building realm? The two of them instantly released their blood chakras, preparing for a quick fight. After all, their injuries were serious now and they didn't want any accidents to occur. Su Chen used the 9 Tribulations sword technique, fused with the sword blood wheel, and the sharp and domineering sword energy formed an absolute suppressive force, and he began to attack relentlessly. How can it be? Just a simple collision. The two people instantly understood how terrifying this person's offensive was. This was not the strength that a Foundation Establishment level warrior should possess. If they hadn't experienced it personally, even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't believe it was true. Boom boom boom. Of course, Su Chen would not give the two of them any chance to breathe. The continuous sword energy swept over the two of them, and the domineering sword energy contained cold murderous intent. Walk. As the saying goes, an expert will know if something is there as soon as he makes a move. This person's tyranny completely shocked the two of them. Both Xiao Ming and Su Chen felt that something was wrong. Whether they wanted to believe it or not, the facts were in front of them. If they continued to fight, they would most likely be massacred. Here, the academy does have clear rules that do not allow deaths among students. They just kill them secretly without letting the academy know about it. So who will take care of this matter? If they were at their peak, they would definitely not be afraid of this person, but now, they are somewhat afraid. Chapter 27 Life and Death Battle with Monsters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feeling helpless, I could only choose to leave. Whoever asked the two of them to join forces to suppress the blood demon tiger suffered heavy losses. Even if they joined forces, they were no match for this person, and there was no point in continuing to stay. The sword energy is everywhere, accompanied by the roar of the sword. The dense and fierce sword energy directly blocked all the ways for the two to leave. You're going too far. Boy, just taking advantage of others' danger. Su Chen was too lazy to talk fast with the two of them. If it weren't for the college's regulations that no death should occur, the two of them would be two corpses now. How could they stand and talk nonsense? The sword energy pierced the space and attacked the two of them fiercely. The sword energy tore apart the two of them fiercely. There were bloody wounds all over their bodies. If they continued like this, even if they didn't die, their injuries would become more and more serious. It would be difficult for them to survive encountering monsters in the eastern wilderness forest. Stop. Seeing themselves wrapped in sword energy, Xiao Ming and Su Chen both sighed deeply, took out their respective identity jade tokens, and allocated all their points to the two of them. Winner takes all, loser for Ko, regardless of whether the opponent is from the foundation building realm of the junior class, defeating them is an indisputable fact. The two of them know very well that according to the current situation, even if they are at their peak, they may not be their opponents. It's really hard to believe, when did such an awesome person appear in the junior class? Even Tang Hao, who is known as the strongest person in the junior class, can barely compete with the 5th level Void Core Realm, and he can only treat them with respect when meeting them. Feeling that the identity Jade token instantly gained 610 points, plus the 7 points in the Jade token itself, Su Chen now had a total of 617 points. According to the total number of students in the beginner class and intermediate class, there are probably tens of thousands of students. Excluding the students who did not participate in the battle for Qianlong, there should be less than 7,000 students, according to Su Chen's speculation. If he wants to be on the Qianlong ranking and be ranked high, he needs at least hundreds of points. If nothing happens to him now, he should be able to steadily climb the Qianlong ranking. As for where he can be ranked, he has to decide. Got it, didn't dwell on it. As long as you can get on the Qianlong ranking, you can get points and enter the academy to redeem what you want. Deep in the valley, huge spiritual power fluctuations emerged. Su Chen took a deep breath, of course he would not miss it, and immediately headed towards the depths of the valley. Senior Xiao, should he stop him if he wants to go in? Stop. Whether he died or not has nothing to do with us. Let's go. Being defeated by a junior class student was already unacceptable. How could the angry Xiao Ming be kind enough to remind him? Deep in the valley, there is lush greenery, and huge spiritual power envelopes the entire valley, which is several times more dense than outside. Su Chen could also guess that there must be something fishy here. If not, how could there be no students coming to such a nice place? Because of this, he kept vigilant and looked around vigilantly. The ancient gods and demons art is running in the body, and you can form seals and cast the death seal of gods and demons at any time. Purple Fox swallowed the Ponchua Ganoderma and absorbed the power, and its aura has become very stable. When the injury is stable, it will recover on its own. I believe that if it continues at this speed, it will be cured within a few months. He frowned tightly. The deep valley was too quiet, there was no sound fluctuation, even the sound of the wind seemed to be still here. The silence was a little strange. Su Chen became increasingly vigilant and walked forward step by step. Are these purple blood ginseng and jade bone fruit? Looking at the two spiritual grasses and spiritual fruits on the ground not far away, Su Chen's eyes suddenly condensed. He never expected that he would encounter such top-notch spiritual grasses here. He was so lucky. Without the slightest hesitation, Su Chen's speed suddenly increased and he was in front of the spiritual grass in an instant. Seeing the purple blood ginseng and jade bone fruit so close at hand, Su Chen couldn't get too excited. Just when he was about to pick them, a terrifying force hit him instantly, like a hammer hitting him hard, knocking him away. Blood spurted out, dyeing the void red. Su Chen's body drew a beautiful arc, and then he was hit hard. It fell to the ground. A carp rolled and flipped up from the ground in an instant. Su Chen's eyes were very solemn, feeling the pain coming from his body, staring at the monster that appeared in front of him. Real Dan realm monster, two-headed golden wolf. The realm of martial arts is divided into innate realm, foundation building realm, golden elixir realm, yuaning realm, soul palace realm, concentration realm. Among them, the golden elixir realm is divided into virtual elixir realm, real elixir realm and golden elixir realm. Nowadays, Su Chen is very aware of his own strength. Killing any warriors and monsters in the Void Core realm should not be a big problem. Even if he encounters the peak Void Core realm, he can fight. Only when encountering real-level demon beasts, the absolute gap in realm is difficult to make up. If it were a life-and-death fight, he wouldn't even be 50% sure, let alone encountering a 7th-level real beast. Dan realm monster, two-headed golden wolf. The wolf standing not far from Su Chen had a golden body, 2 heads, both golden, and 4 cold eyes, exuding cold killing intent, staring at the human warrior in front of him. When a monster reaches the real elixir realm, the beast elixir condensed in its body can already gather all its power. Ingesting and selling it, or refining the elixir are both good choices. As for the Void Core realm monsters, the beast elixir in their bodies can only store 1/3 of their power, and when they are hunted and ingested, the beast elixir of the Void Core realm monsters drains very quickly. The low roar contained dissatisfied killing intent, seeming to tell Su Chen that if you dare to set foot on my territory, you will bear my anger. This moment, Su Chen did not escape, because now he was locked by the two-headed golden wolf. Even if he chose to give up snatching the purple blood ginseng and jade bone fruit, he believed that the two-headed wolverine would still not let him go. Must fight hard. he doesn't want to die here. At this moment, before Su Chen could take action, the angry two-headed wolverine was already flying towards him, its cold murderous intent already locked onto it. Violent roars resounded throughout the deep valley, and roars came out from the two wolf mouths, directly slapping Su Chen fiercely. Not daring to be careless in the slightest, Su Chen knew very well what terrifying strength the 7th level real elixir realm monster, the two-headed wolverine, possessed. The gap between them is too big, there must be no mistake, otherwise, he will definitely die. Su Chen didn't want to die here. Even if he couldn't defeat the two-headed wolverine, he still had to leave here alive. If he could take 2 spiritual grasses with him, that would definitely be the best thing. He instantly formed seals with his hands to perform the death seal of gods and demons, and waves of black charm continued to gather together. The ancient gods and demons' art running in his body began to spread throughout his body, and the extremely domineering death seal was completed in an instant and punched out directly. Boom! The offensives of one man and one wolf collided fiercely in midair. Under the collision of air waves, they suddenly spread in all directions. The ground could not bear it and began to shatter inch by inch, like a huge spider web covering it. The ground seemed to tremble, and Su Chen's expression suddenly changed. He still underestimated the strength of the two-headed wolverine and immediately used the blood wheel. The dragon elephant blood wheel and the sword blood wheel condensed at the same time, exuding a cold sword roar, and the extremely domineering sword energy began to form a sword shield, completely wrapping Su Chen. There was a dragon roar and an elephant roar, accompanied by the phantoms of the 9 dragons and 9 elephants. And the 9 dragons and 9 elephants technique was simultaneously performed. Su Chen could guess that this 9 dragons and 9 symbols technique was what his mother left to him. After all, the twin blood chakras were still sealed, could only mean that his blood chakras were inherited from his parents. The two-headed wolverine showed no fear at all, but seemed to become more and more excited. The 2 huge golden heads began to spray golden mist, but before the golden mist could get close to him, Su Chen's 9 dragons and 9 elephants technique had already cooperated with the 9 dragons and 9 elephants to swallow up the golden mist. It seems a little careless, the angry two-headed wolverine roared, and its speed suddenly surged, like a streak of yellow lightning, constantly looking for opportunities. As a majestic 7th level real elixir realm monster, he was unable to instantly kill a Foundation Establishment realm human warrior. For him, it was absolutely a shame, an unacceptable shame and humiliation. Roar! Angry roars continued to sound, but they could not affect Su Chen. He remained unchanged in response to all changes. The sword energy superimposed the power of the dragon elephant, constantly locking the position of the two-headed wolverine. Because the speed of the two-headed wolverine was so fast, Su Chen's eyes became more and more solemn. Such a smart monster, obviously so much higher than himself, did not choose to attack violently, but instead started a psychological war with himself. Right now, the two-headed wolverine seemed to have found a breakthrough. He jumped up high and attacked Su Chen fiercely. Both heads sprayed out yellow light balls at the same time. The sharp wolf claws gripped the sword cover fiercely. The sound of the collision was extremely harsh. Buzz. Su Chen recited Buddhist scriptures, and huge streams of Buddha's breath containing the power of the dragon elephant rolled out. A huge illusory Buddha statue condensed behind him. A swastika condensed with the dragon elephant Buddha's breath formed in an instant, fiercely moving towards the two sides. Wolverine beats the head away. The 8 Buddhas entered the body of chaos because they wanted to suppress the god-killing Ju Bone Bao. Not all 8 Buddhas taught Su Chen all their Buddhist magical powers, so that one day something unexpected happened and Su Chen could use Buddhist magical powers to suppress the god-killing Ju Bone Bao. In any case, the chaotic body belongs to Su Chen, and only Su Chen can suppress it. The 8 Buddhas are only assistants and cannot truly suppress it. Su Chen knew very well how terrible the backlash of the god-killing Bone Bao was. Back in Tiangu City, he shot 3 arrows in a row. If not for Luo Tianfei's help, I believe he would have been completely backfired by the god-killing Bone Bao. Either he would perish or become a killer. Machines, I feel scared now just thinking about them. It is precisely because of this that Su Chen will not use the god-killing Bone Bao unless it is absolutely necessary. unless it is a life-or-death situation, he didn't want to be taken advantage of by the god-killing bone bow. Whether he fell or was backlashed and turned into a killing machine, it was not something he wanted to see. Chapter 28, Burial and Imprisonment, Soul Self-Destruction. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The Buddhist magical power was superimposed with the power of dragon and elephant, plus the coverage of sword energy. Su Chen went completely crazy. Either you die or I die. Su Chen knew very well how dangerous he was when facing a 7th-level real elixir realm monster. If he was not careful, he would fall into a point of no return. Boom boom boom. Under the continuous collision, Su Chen's body continued to be hit, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and his face instantly turned pale. He is very aware of the gap between himself and the 7th-level real pill realm monster. If this continues, it may be difficult for him to leave alive. A burial pen appeared in his hand. Using the burial tribulation pen will consume a lot of souls, just like the god-killing bone bow, but be careful with the backlash. The current situation is very unfavorable to him. Regardless of whether he is willing or not, he must use the burial tribulation pen. Holding the burial tribulation pen in his hand, he immediately waved it in front of his face without any hesitation, quickly drawing a special pattern with each stroke. Boom. Thunder roared, forming an absolute taboo of heavenly calamity all around. The two-headed golden wolf, who was preparing to continue the attack, suddenly felt that he was being locked by the tribulation, and his body was shaking with fear. Heavenly catastrophe. How could a human warrior trigger a natural disaster? It was simply impossible. Even if he experienced it personally, he would not believe it was true even if he was killed. The burial tribulation pen, a top treasure, was also the first treasure given to him by the tower spirit. When his cultivation level reaches a certain height, he can use the burial tribulation pen to trigger the heavenly tribulation using the sky and the earth as a map. The area covered by that time will definitely cover the entire eastern wasteland. The heavenly tribulation imprisoned the surrounding space, and Su Chen suddenly felt waves of weakness coming from his body, especially his soul. Without the slightest hesitation, Su Chen immediately took out a blood-coated Ganoderma lucidum from the space ring and swallowed it. Take advantage of. He's sick and it's going to kill him. Of course, Su Chen would not miss the opportunity in vain. After all, he could not use the burial tribulation pen for long, and he must not let the two-headed Wolverine escape. Concentrating the death marks of gods and demons, the extremely domineering death marks were directly directed towards the locked monsters and struck out fiercely. Completely confused, the two-headed Wolverine had no idea that as a majestic 7th-level real pill realm monster, he would now be suppressed by a small Foundation establishment realm human warrior. It was a great shame and humiliation. Cannot accept. The two-headed Wolverine knows very well that the current situation is very unfavorable to him. Life and death are already determined. It is absolutely impossible to be killed by humans, and he will even be ingested by the opponent. Without even thinking about it, the two-headed Wolverine directly chose his soul to explode. Boom. As the two-headed Wolverine soul exploded, the domineering and vast soul impact hit Su Chen hard. Su Chen, who was completely confused, never thought that the two-headed Wolverine would choose to self-destruct his soul. When one soul self-destructs, neither a warrior nor a monster would choose to do so. The soul of a 7th-level real elixir realm monster self-destructed. The moment the impact affected Su Chen, a mouthful of blood spurted out. The blood all over his body was stained red, and his body flew out violently, falling to the ground hard. Su Chen endured the pain from his body and vomited blood repeatedly. Not dying is a blessing among misfortunes. Looking around, Su Chen immediately stood up and left slowly. He did not leave the deep valley immediately, but found a secluded place to recover from his injuries first. Sitting cross-legged, he immediately swallowed a pan. Blood Ganoderma began to circulate the ancient gods and demons art and the ancestral phoenix nirvana art in the body. The ancestral phoenix nirvana technique is the top martial arts taught to him by Luo Tianfei. As he practiced the ancestral phoenix nirvana technique, Su Chen gradually discovered that the nirvana cycle formed in the ancestral phoenix nirvana technique was of great benefit to the recovery of injuries. Wave after wave of power forms an endless cycle in the body. One day one night, Su Chen slowly opened his eyes, with fear in his eyes. If it weren't for the heavenly tribulation imprisonment drawn by Zhang Jie just now, I believe he would have fallen by now. The more I think about it, the more I am afraid. I was still thinking about it. use the burial tribulation pen and the death seal of gods and demons to kill the two-headed wolverine, and then ingest the beast pill to devour the soul of the two-headed wolverine. The results of it. He was almost tricked by the two-headed wolverine. 90% of the injury has been recovered, and there is no serious problem. Calculating the time, there are still less than 5 days until the battle for the Qianlong is over. He must compete for points as quickly as possible and climb to the front row of the Qianlong leaderboard. No need to ask, he understands the rules of Qianlong list. On the hidden dragon ranking, the higher the position, the more benefits you will get. The most intuitive reward is points. In Donghuang College, points are gold coins, which can be exchanged for anything you want. Looking left and right, there was still no sound in the huge valley, as if time had stood still. There must be other spiritual herbs in this deep valley. He must be unwilling to give up like this, but Su Chen also understands that if he continues to stay here, he will definitely encounter danger, like what happened just now. Facing the two-headed wolverine's soul self-destruction, the chance of his own death was too high. He was very afraid of death. Su Chen thought that he was very afraid of death, very afraid of death. Taking a deep breath, Su Chen finally decided to stay here and see if he could find other spiritual herbs. But before looking for the spiritual grass, Su Chen was going to refine the elixir first. He had already obtained 3,000 elixirs and had been comprehending them for so long. If he didn't get started, who knows when he would be able to actually refine them. A palm-sized universe furnace appeared in his hand. It instantly grew in size and was as tall as 2 people. He took out the Pontua Ganoderma lucidum and threw it directly into the alchemy furnace. The seals on both hands condensed to form a ball of flame seedlings as thick as a finger. An hour later, when the alchemy failed, Su Chen was not surprised or disappointed at all. As the saying goes, failure is the mother of success. It is definitely not enough to simply understand the flames produced by 3,000 alchemy methods. It would be best if you could get a technique specifically for the reproduction of flames. As for the strange fire, you need luck to get it. Although there are tens of thousands of different fires in the world, it is not easy for a warrior to get one of them. It depends entirely on luck. If you are not lucky, even if the strange fire is placed in front of you, you may not be able to get it. The most important thing is that even if you can encounter the terrifying power of the alien fire, you may not be able to obtain it. It is too difficult to truly master the alien fire. For alchemists, strange fire is a crucial thing. It can be said that alchemists of the same level have different fires and ordinary flames, which are 2 completely different levels, and the levels of the elixirs they refine will also be very different. Many alchemists have spent their entire lives pursuing the search for strange fires, with the ultimate goal of mastering them. After taking back the Qianquan furnace, Su Chen said helplessly, "Find an opportunity to buy a space ring with a larger space." Chapter 29 Condensing Xudan, feels good in hand. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. A failure in alchemy is nothing at all. When the battle for the hidden dragon is over, he will enter Donghuang Academy to see if there is a method for cultivating flames and exchange it for one. Did not leave the deep valley. Su Chen wanted to continue to try his luck to see if he could find other top-level spiritual herbs. Continuing deeper, the deepest part of the valley is shrouded in a thin layer of red mist, which looks extremely strange. Is it because of the unusual movement here that there is no sound in the deep valley? Su Chen was just guessing. At this time, the purple fox jumped out of Su Chen's arms and nodded towards the red mist in front of him. You want to go in? Zihu's injury has stabilized, but it may take at least several months, or even years, to fully recover. He could also vaguely guess that Zihu's level should be very high. Otherwise, in Tiangu's city before, White Fox would not kneel down to Zihu directly. Then you go. Zihu shook his head and squeaked. Want me to go with you? Seeing Zihu nodding, Su Chen was helpless. He had no choice. Since Zihu had already spoken, he couldn't refuse Zihu. Holding Zihu in his arms, Su Chen walked directly towards the red mist in front of him. Su Chen walked into the red mist mask without any hindrance. He immediately felt the red mist aura, continuously invading his mind and eroding his soul. Shocked in his heart, Su Chen immediately used the Chaos Devouring technique. The devouring power formed a devouring air shield around his body to resist the erosion of the red mist. Keep going. Demon corpse. Looking at the huge corpse in front of him, Su Chen's eyes suddenly froze. A corpse can intimidate the deep valley to be so quiet. It seems that this monster must have been very strong during his lifetime. The purple fox rushed out in an instant, came directly to the corpse, and began to devour it. Su Chen shrugged helplessly, and Su Chen did not stop him. I believe the purple fox must be able to withstand the power of devouring the corpse. There was no need for him to stop the purple fox from devouring the body. Su Chen also sat cross-legged. He could feel this. Although the red mist breath would corrode the soul, it was not necessarily a bad thing for him. He possesses the Chaos Devouring technique, which can swallow the breath of red mist and turn it into his own power for practice. Now, he has successfully broken through to the peak foundation building realm, and is only the last step away from the virtual core realm. He hopes to use the power here to successfully break through to the virtual core realm in one fell swoop. Sitting cross-legged, the Chaos Devouring technique running in his body began to emit waves of devouring aura, covering every part of the body. Swallow. Crazy swallowing of the surrounding red mist. Zihu, who was devouring the power of the corpse, saw Su Chen practicing, his two beautiful eyes turning, as if he was thinking about something. In the end, Zihu chose to help Su Chen. The power that devoured the corpse turned into a force and rushed towards Su Chen. Thank you. Sensing Zihu's intention, Su Chen nodded towards Zihu to express his gratitude. To attack the void pill realm from the foundation establishment realm is to condense it into a pill in the body's dantian. The power Su Chen swallowed gathered in the dantian, and began to break, reunite, and come back again and again. I don't know how many times the cycle went through, but when Su Chen looked up to the sky and let out a long roar, the power in his dantian condensed into a pill-shaped shape, which looked illusory. Virtual Dan Realm. Su Chen was also a little surprised. He also didn't expect that this time he entered Donghuang Academy and just participated in the battle for the Hidden Dragon, and already broke through to the Void Core Realm. Now he is absolutely confident that he can sweep through any Void Core Realm. Even when facing low-level Real Core Realm warriors and monsters, he has the power to fight, with the help of Zihu. Su Chen was finally stabilized in the second-level Void Core Realm, and he was very satisfied. After all, martial arts training itself is against the will of nature. If you want to improve your martial arts cultivation, it will be difficult step by step, even if it is a level. The improvement is all kinds of difficulties. His cultivation speed is already very fast. As long as he continues at this speed, Su Chen has full confidence that in 1 to 2 years, he will have the strength to defeat Su Hao. When Su Chen successfully broke through to the Xudan realm, the purple fox had already finished devouring it. Very satisfied, when Zihu returned to his arms, Su Chen could clearly feel that Zihu seemed to be a little different. His injuries were much better, and the hair on his body became more and more beautiful. He gently stroked the hair on Zihu's body, touched his buttocks at the same time, and said with a smile, "It feels good." Squeak, squeak. Zihu protested. If the injuries on his body were not still serious, I believe Zihu would really take action. Ha ha ha. Su Chen laughed. He found that the purple fox was really cute. He did not continue to tease the purple fox, but directly threw the purple fox into his arms, then turned and left. Outside the giant peak, Xing Yingxue waited anxiously, not thinking about practicing at all. After all, she didn't know what was going on inside, and she didn't dare to go there rashly, because she didn't want to be a burden to Junior Su. Increasingly worried, Xing Yingxue understood that she absolutely fell in love with Senior Su at first sight, but she didn't dare to say it, and she couldn't say it. She was afraid of being rejected by Junior Su, and she wouldn't even be able to be friends by then. Right now, seeing the figure running towards him, Xing Yingxue's face suddenly became happy. When Su Chen came to the front, Xing Yingxue couldn't wait to ask, "Junior Su, are you okay?" Shaking his head, Su Chen smiled and said, "I'm fine." Su Chen didn't think much about it, and he couldn't tell that Xing Yingxue liked him. "Junior Su, not long ago, I saw seniors Xiao Ming and Su Chen from Intermediate Class 1 walking out seriously injured. Have you met them?" This is why Xing Yingxue is worried. After all, Xiao Ming and Su Chen are from Intermediate Class 1, and their high positions on the Hidden Dragon ranking are very famous even in Donghuang College. Even the two of them were injured in the valley, and she was very worried about Junior Su's safety. Xue didn't know that the two of them were severely injured by Su Chen. "Let's go." He didn't want to mention more about the two of them. For him, no matter who he met, it was just a stumbling block for him. This time he came to Donghuang College. In addition to avoiding the Su clan, the most important thing was to practice. "I hope able to catch up with Su Hao in the shortest time." Su Hao's own talent is the best among the Su people. Back then, he stripped off his imperial bones and fused them into his own body. I believe that Su Hao's talent is one of the best in the entire Eastern Wasteland. Now that Su Hao has reached the peak real elixir realm, he believes that he can break through to the golden elixir realm at any time. When he breaks through, Su Hao will also improve with him, and his speed may not be much worse than his own. It is precisely because of this that he must work harder, not be distracted at all, and must give his best. Chapter 30, Number 1 on the Hidden Dragon List, Famous Animal Academy. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. With his cultivation, he successfully broke through to the second-level Void Pill realm. Su Chen has become absolutely invincible at the same level. Even if he encounters the peak Void Core realm, he can still kill him. Sister Xing, since you have successfully awakened the mutated blood wheel, we will separate here. Separate? Xing Yingxue sighed deeply in her heart. She had already guessed that this would happen, but she didn't expect that it would happen so quickly. Can't say no. She has always been a girl, so why would she take the initiative to say I like you and want to follow you? She couldn't do it, her pride told her not to. Girls who take too much initiative will be looked down upon. Junior Su, you have to be careful. We'll see you in the academy. Xing Yingxue has decided not to continue competing for the Hidden Dragon ranking, nor to practice, and is ready to return to the academy immediately. She has awakened the mutated blood will shrouded Skylark. With the improvement of her talent, I believe her training speed will be greatly improved. Take care of yourself too. Su Chen did not continue to grumble, turned around and left quickly, looking at the disappearing figure. Xing Yingxue sighed deeply. After leaving, Su Chen began to target each student one after another, and the entire Donghuang forest was divided into east and west sides. This is the area where the Qianlong battle is fought. Under normal circumstances, students from the advanced class and the ace class will not set foot there casually. With Su Chen's current strength, he can definitely sweep through all the students in any beginner class or intermediate class, constantly sweeping, frantically grabbing points. When the battle for Qianlong ended on the 10th day, Su Chen found that the identity jade token in his hand showed a number, 3,333 points. Su Chen's madness aroused the fear of all the students in the junior class, including the intermediate class, and gave Su Chen the nickname Madman. Crazy Su Chen. Looking at the identity jade token in his hand, Su Chen didn't know where he was on the hidden dragon list, but he was certain that he was definitely on the hidden dragon list. But you have to know. There are tens of thousands of students in all the beginner and intermediate classes of Donghuang Academy, but about 70% of the students enter the forest to participate in the battle for the hidden dragon. He was able to win 3,333 points, which is considered to have won nearly half of the points. The battle for the hidden dragon is over, and all students must leave the forest and return to the academy. Inside Donghuang Academy, the huge square has two stone tablets, one on the left and one on the right, all pure black. The stone tablets are filled with densely packed names and classes from top to bottom, as well as awakened blood wheels. The two stone tablets are the two most important lists of Donghuang Academy, the Hidden Dragon list and the 100 Battles list. On the Qianlong list, students from the beginner class and the intermediate class compete. In the 100 Battle ranking, students from the advanced class and the ace class compete. As for the ace class, any student who can enter the ace class will enjoy the same treatment as the teacher, and will even receive full training from the college without having to compete for any rankings. The two lists will be re-ranked every year. After the Qianlong battle and the 100 Battles battle are re-ranked, students who want to compete for rankings can directly challenge the people on the list. Now, countless students stood in front of the Qianlong list, pointing at the stone tablet and talking about it. Turn out to be at the highest position on the Hidden Dragon list, there is a red font that reads Su Chen, Sword and Blood Wheel. The name and the blood will alone didn't matter. The most important thing was that behind the sword blood wheel were written the words Junior Class 22. This was something that shocked everyone. After all, many people did not go to the eastern wilderness forest to participate in the so-called battle for the hidden dragon. Under normal circumstances, the competition for the Qianlong ranking is all about the students in the intermediate class and has nothing to do with the students in the junior class. Students at the Foundation Establishment realm want to snatch the points from students at the Void Core realm. There are only 3 words: it's impossible. And it is easy for Void Core realm students to snatch the points from Foundation Establishment realm students. Because of this, there are very few students on the Hidden Dragon ranking every year. Even if there are only a few students who can be on the Hidden Dragon ranking. In this junior class, there was only one person named Tang Hao. He was ranked first in the junior class, and he was able to reach the 100th place on the Qianlong ranking, the bottom one. From this, you can imagine how difficult it is for students in the junior class to get into the Qianlong class, and now, the first position on the Qianlong list is written by Su Chen, who is in the junior class, and is still praised as the worst junior class by the college. As we all know, there are 9 people in the worst junior class, and each one of them is a student with extremely poor talent, and the awakened blood wheel is a waste blood wheel. Who is this Su Chen? I know a little bit about the 9 people in the worst junior class. It seems that there is no one named Su Chen. Maybe someone who just entered the academy. Well, it's possible. If this person is in the Void Core realm, he will be directly assigned to the intermediate class. How can he enter the junior class? It means that this person is only in the Foundation Establishment realm. He is really strong enough to compete for the Hidden Dragon ranking with the Foundation Establishment realm. And still ranked first. I can only describe it as awesome. It's hard to say. Just ask the people in the junior class. Shi Xiaoman, Fang Qing and Yi Xianxian are there. Come on, go over and ask. There are 9 students in the worst junior class, 5 boys and 4 girls, 4 of whom are Shi Xiaoman, Fang Qing, Yi Xianxian and Xing Yingxue. The 3 girls did not participate in the battle for the Hidden Dragon. They were still worried about Xing Yingxue. After all, among the 9 people in the worst junior class, only Xing Yingxue went to the Eastern Wilderness Forest to participate in the battle for the Hidden Dragon. Looking at the Hidden Dragon list in front of them, the 3 girls looked very surprised. The name ranked first was from the worst junior class. Where did you think this Su Chen came from? It's been almost a year, and we have never heard of such an awesome person in the class. I don't know. Maybe he signed up but never came to the academy. Maybe he just came in recently. It's really impressive. He ranked first on the Hidden Dragon ranking with the Foundation Establishment realm. This has never happened before in the history of Donghuang Academy. Our worst junior class is the famous Animal Academy this time. The 3 girls were all shocked. After all, in Donghuang College, the worst junior class was the least picturesque, and it was also a joke in the eyes of all the students. You 3, stop, I have something to ask you. What's the matter? That when the 3 of them saw the other students in the junior class, they instinctively felt a little inferior. They had no choice but to speak with their strength no matter where they were. What is the origin of this Su Chen? Shi Xiaoman shook his head and said helplessly, we also want to know who this Su Chen is. We have never seen him or even heard of him. Very surprised, even the students in the worst junior class don't know this person. This Su Chen is really a mystery.